Right, let's talk about Class. For those of you who haven't seen my last video I did on Class, I did a sort of what my expectations, what I hope to see from the series. There's a video which I'll put up. There'll be that weird question mark, exclamation mark. No, it's like an eye. So that weird annotation in the top will pop up. It's a link to that video. So if you want to know what I thought about what Class is going to be. But now obviously I've seen Series 1. I know it's quite late, but it's quite appropriate because the series itself has been airing on BBC One, has only just finished. So, what did I think of Doctor Who's brand new spin-off series, and do I think it has a future? The answer is, I'm in the middle with this show. I really wanted to like it. Really did. I really wanted to really enjoy it, and I just came out feeling that it, I don't know, not bad but not good in the same sort of respect. Most people were on three stages of how people think of the show. The classmates that really love the show, regardless of how it's going to be. We've got the main Doctor Who fandom, which tends to be the ones that love Doctor Who and have checked in on Class as a spin-off series and have gone, nah, not really for me. And then there's everyone else who's a mixture of a small part of the general audience and everyone else like myself who have just gone, I don't really know what to think. I tried to compile a bunch of things in my head what I thought would be the good things about the show, what I really liked about it, and what stands out as a show. For a start, I really liked the way it was visually presented. Visual effects were amazing. I loved the Shadowkin and how they looked. I really liked a lot of the performances on some parts to a certain degree. I quite liked Greg Austin's character Charlie. I quite liked April, Sophie Hopkins' character. And I liked Ram and Miss Quill and Tanya in a lot of places, but I feel like a lot of the time their characters were being, I don't know, it felt like their characters jumped around a bit. It had a lot of potential, and realistically, it was very, as a TV show, it was good. There was no holes, there was no cheap looking things. It wasn't sort of produced under as a production. It was very solid, and I liked that element. I like visual effects, and there were good moments in the series that I really liked. But then that's it. Everything else is sort of just like meh. Character development was always a problem. I felt that Charlie didn't really get much of development. April sort of did a bit and then stopped. Tanya and Ram just sort of did stuff. They had a good relationship in the first few episodes as friends, and then suddenly they flipped back up on themselves by the end of the series, and the characters weren't as likeable as I suppose they were originally presented to be. Miss Quill was the most interesting character, and I did enjoy her throughout quite a lot of it, but near the end of she was held back. It felt, obviously, with the whole alarm thing in her head and the whole thing with Charlie, it felt like it held her back quite a bit, and of course that was a good point why she was actually helping them, because obviously her character wouldn't do that normally. There's a lot of wasted potential. I think all of the actors and actresses in this series have good, they're all good actors. I'm going to knock something over in a minute. They're all good actors. So, I don't know what's went wrong here. I'm going to try and pinpoint a few things that I can think of off the top of my head. First things first is the amount of episodes. So Series 1 is 8 episodes, which for a teen drama is quite an alright number of episodes, but compared to other Doctor Who and its other spin-offs who've had roughly 12 to 13 episodes, it didn't feel like there was enough breathing room for character development and for everything else. We had the Shadowkin in the first episode, then they popped back for episodes 4 and 5, and then they were in again episode 8, and to be honest, sort of episode 7 led into episode 8, so realistically only episodes 2 and 3 sort of felt like they were standalone stories. Everything else sort of felt like an overarching thing, and I didn't like that. I think it didn't work very well with Torchwood Miracle Day, and when you're doing an overarching thing or it's a background story, it doesn't work sometimes if you're too forced, especially over the duration of 8 episodes. If they'd had 13, like Torchwood's first 2 series did, I think there would have been a lot more breathing room. I think we would have got some more interim stories where we got more alien menaces coming through the crack, and I think perhaps I would have given it more of a... it just felt rushed. In and out, is a Shadowkin most of the time, and it just didn't feel right. The other part was the fact it's a Doctor Who spin-off, so how did I feel in comparison to the main show? Of course, the Doctor popped up in episode 1, Peter Capaldi was always excellent as the Doctor, and I liked the moment he was in there, but the problem is the thing that comes with it, the fact that he's in a show that's got things like, in the same episode, a girl got stabbed and blew up and blood went everywhere, and Ram got his leg cut off, and things like that. It just didn't feel right with the Doctor being in that universe. Of course, in reality, he would be, you know, and in a lot of spin-off audios and comics and things like that, you see a lot more of that stuff, but in the television part of it, I think the Doctor should have stayed out of it, really, in that respect. Because he never appeared in Torchwood, and although he did appear in Sarah Jane Adventures was obviously for younger audiences, the Doctor works in that context, but I don't know. I was happy to see him, and realistically, in context of the story, I think it was fine, but I just don't think, in the general sense, he should have been in it in that respect. There was a few other nods. We got mention of the Zygons, we got a character, Mr. Armitage, who was in Series 8 of Doctor Who, still the headmaster, but he got killed off pretty quickly, you know. I thought, well, that was a bit of a waste, and then we got a Weeping Angel popping up at the end. And realistically, it just felt like they were putting in these Doctor elements. It didn't feel like they were part of the universe, whilst Torchwood and the Sarah Jane Adventures still felt very much part of what Doctor Who was. I think it was too far-flung from the parent show. Another part I wasn't so pleased about was the fact that the entire series was written by one person. I've got quite a big... Recently I've sort of come up with the idea about how I think a good show is written, and I think comedy is good under one writer, because you can get a good sense of that with the writer's particular style of comedy. It doesn't feel too sort of... Stuff doesn't feel disjointed in any way for a comedy series, but I think that's the only type of series that should have only one writer. And now, this is not a comment on Patrick Ness, because I think Patrick Ness is a really good writer. The fact being is that he, prior to this show, he's only ever done novels and things like that, and TV writing is probably a lot more different to book writing. Of course, as a writer, you're always quite good, but it's a new sort of thing. So for someone like that to come into something afresh and having to write an entire show, start to finish, 8 entire episodes, I think it doesn't work. And I feel like one writer on a show like Doctor Who or Class or something should have multiple creative ideas. This is why it would work. So for example, Doctor Who itself, too many episodes written by Stephen Moffat, and stuff gets to feel stale. So it's not a comment on the writer's abilities, it's a comment on the fact that one person shouldn't have complete creative control over a show, science fiction show, a drama show, anything like that. I think comedy is the only one where it works, and I feel like Patrick's writing got a little bit, I think it was just too much of one person's creativity into a show. I think it deserved perhaps some Who writers, perhaps some non-Who writers, people who haven't written for Doctor Who as a show and come in fresh. So if Class was to do another series, I'd like Patrick to perhaps step back a little bit, write the opening and closing episodes, or perhaps one in the middle, write a few of them of course, but I feel creatively it needs a variety of people working on it, so at the very least 2 or 3 people inputting to it. What else did I feel was wrong? Not really much else. Everything else just sort of felt meh. It came in a period of time, obviously it was in Doctor Who's gap, so it had a bit more of a chance against, rather than having to fight against its parent show. A few things about the show annoyed me. We had the whole classmates thing, and I think a show needs to earn a fan base. I think it had a fan base before it should have done. And I think it just took elements of the Doctor Who fan base and a few new people and just made, hey look, we're classmates, and it didn't work. If they were to bring the series back, this is my notes for the next series, they should introduce at least one more new character. They should bring in a regular Doctor Who character, a character from the main parent show, someone we've seen established a few times. Like, I feel Class got cut out because it wasn't, with Torchwood and Sarah Jane Adventures, we had Captain Jack and Sarah Jane Smith, characters that were enjoyed in the main show, and I think you need some character like that to sort of carry it. And I think establishing a whole new universe within the Doctor Who universe doesn't quite work, and if you've not got anyone to latch onto properly. And that's probably why they put the Doctor in episode 1, just to sort of go, hey look, we're still... So I don't know, if they were doing that, bring in a Doctor Who character, perhaps mix the cast up a little bit, add a couple of new supporting characters, make the series longer, give it more episodes, more breathing room. The whole Weeping Angel subplot that they're trying to establish should be, you know, there but not obvious, possibly appearing in the first and last episodes, or only burying its head near the end of the series, and give the whole Shadowkinner thing a push away and things like that. Really, I think, yeah, I've rambled on too much about it, but my overall feelings of Class were I had high hopes. It didn't reach those hopes. It had good potential, and it still does. you know, well, there was no doubt about the effort that went into the show. I felt like there were a lot of wrong directions taken. So this is going to be a really long video I've got to edit. So this is going up some point after I've gone. Expect a load more new videos. I've still got the comics one, which you might have already seen or you might not have. Depends on when I upload this one. Me and Josh are going to work on another video. So there's going to be quite a few coming up on this channel as opposed to my other channel, Carbonite. There's a few videos we got planned for that. We filmed in advance because I'm going away from everywhere else. So there is more stuff coming up for both these channels. So stay tuned, really. Let me know what you thought about Class. I know a lot of people did enjoy it, so tell me what you liked about it. I'm willing to give Series 2 a go if it ever happens. And yeah, I'll stop talking now. See you in the next video.